So it's totally on us, bro. We got to talk about Madonna every day. Good luck, Omen, dude. I'll just say it right now. Not everybody got to see the video of Madonna deep throating a bottle. So we keep talking about it, and that's on us, bro. Like, because if there's anybody who listens to this podcast who hasn't seen that, then we have failed them. So we apologize to you right now up front. We're gonna do our best, and we're gonna do better. We promise.
Yes, we will, and we'll keep on finding weird shit on the internet to show you guys as well, because
I
kind of like
that's
it.
what we're all about.
So us, man.
Before we go further, dude, I don't want to go on and on and on, but I just gotta give a shout out to John.
Yes,
because
hell yeah, John,
stepping in from Limerick, Ireland, Stab City as some call it. My bad.
It's one thing. It's one thing to jump on a 3-person podcast because you don't have to talk as much, but to go one-on-one, man, that was baller, man. He did a hell of a job.
Exactly, dude. And in doing such a good job, I'm contemplating retirement. We appreciate you, Chris, telling me that I'm still appreciated and my talents are relevant. Thank you. Thank you very
Chris.
much. But hey, how about that game? Like, I really appreciated getting to listen to you guys talk about that game. There was so much that you guys said that I hadn't thought of. And I know that, like, considering that it was, you know, a game that was on a Saturday night, waiting till Monday morning to talk about it, you would have forgotten a lot of stuff. So getting that quick post-game podcast out was awesome. You guys said so much about it. It was no, I'm not making fun of you. Like, I was just
it was
chuckling. Just stuff I didn't think about. Like, I thought about everything. You know, you watch the game and you're like, oh yeah. Like, as a former coach, like, you feel like you have like some sort of like ability to see the game in a different light than other people. Although, sure, I'll say that I
kind of feel like you've been touched by the gods.
Right. I overestimate my own powers all the time. That's one of the, you know, definite things about me. But in the end, I would say listening to you guys' insight was so insightful. And when you started talking about J-Dub, I mean, the masked bandit, because he's out there swiping the ball from people. Like, I think you said it was 2 times or more where he had steals. Maybe it was John who said it, where the ball looked like it was a clean pass to the guy, and they were like waiting for the ball to arrive almost. And then it just never went to their hands. A clean strip. But just into this, like if you were looking at it in like football, be like a Lawrence Taylor touchdown, or nowadays Micah Parsons strip touchdown, like not even a sack, just like remove the ball from the guy and you're going the other way for a pick six or anything, you know. Yeah,
and it's really impressive how he is able to do that. Now, I've seen a lot of NBA players that come through the league and you're like, okay, that player is talented on defense. It's somebody that is going to be really good on defense, right? But typically that's where that ends. You know, like there's no more like, okay, he's going to be a good shooter or he's going to do this or that. Like there's none of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With J-Dub, man, it's like he's just starting at that defensive end. What more can he do? We know he can score on offense. Is he going to be a 20-plus player a night with 4 or 5 steals a night? I mean, who really knows? But his long arms causing issues out there, man, his impact was made. And he's only played, 2 NBA games? 1 full NBA game? And he looked like he was a seasoned pro out there.
Well, and would you be? I'd be tentative, personally. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
After that type of contact?
Uh-huh.
Did you notice any tentativeness with him at all?
Sorry, man. I got a cold slur underneath my tongue. I keep biting it and slurring my words, so I'm trying to get rid of it.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry. I'm pulling up his stats, so I'm not even noticing what's going on with your face.
I bit it really hard. And I'm like, oh, shit, that hurt.
All right, dude. Next time you can keep your herpes to yourself, though. Not everybody in the world needs to know it. I'm just playing. All right. Dude, so we're talking about J-Dub, and I'm sitting here with no stats in front of me.
I got it.
I got it, too, now. 13 points, 5 of 8 shooting. So we like that efficiency. 0 for 2 from behind the arc, which we know he's a competent three-point shooter. So we have no worries about that. 3 of 3 from the free throw line. 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, 1 block, 13 points. What the fuck of stat line is that, dude? If you were in the league for 15 years, 4 steals would be
a big deal.
It would be a career night on the steal front, unless you were maybe 3 or 4 players that I've ever seen in my lifetime. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But I said it in the preseason, right? And when you go through and you watch the steals, like, it's not even, like, he doesn't even get credit for all the steals that he was a part of disrupting the offensive flow. And it's like, you can look at those 13 points and drool. But I look at those 4 steals and I say, that's a bigger deal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the way he plays defense is the lockdown defender. It just adds to it, because here's the thing. You got physical Dort out there, right? Causing massive fucking issues, all right? And then you put J-Dub on him, who's long and lanky, crazy long arms, and still can be physical. I mean, there's no room for anybody. You know, we saw Luka last night. You know, like, or 2 nights ago, whatever it was. I mean, he struggled. And I said after the game, I was like, if it wasn't for Dort, it wasn't for our defenders, he would have had 50 points. Well, last night he had 44 points against Magic, you know? So we see it. We see it every game. Like, Luka came out afterwards. He was tired. He was worn out. He didn't want to play against Dort. He didn't want to play against Bazley or J-Dub anymore. He was fucking done. And he had to go to OT
threw so
for it.
many looks. That's such a relevant point. And it was, we always had another look to throw him.
Yeah.
All the way through the game.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know how Luka feels, but if I were him, I would be back to where I felt last year, which is I'm putting up historic numbers, and I'm lacking the help to finish games.
Oh, yeah. Oh, easy, man.
Okay, so now that you're done doing that disgusting shit, like,
it works, guys. It works without even
okay,
cold stores, guys. Fuckers, nasty.
Right.
I keep biting it, and it hurts so bad.
Been there. Okay, so I mean, here's my question about J-Dub. Like, you were saying it, and I said, how much will it affect him? And you said it wouldn't. And I thought that was kind of a ridiculous thing to say for a player who it would be his second game to suddenly be out there playing. Now, it's hard to say that it negatively affected him in any way, but I would say that that wasn't even close to the best game we're going to get from him offensively this year. It seems to me like what he brings to the table is like an offensive confidence, right? That just says, okay, I know what I'm trying to do, and I know what speed I need to do it to come in off the bench at this level, is incredible. And we see it on both ends, like that 7'2" wingspan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's extra separation, right? That's the ability to, knock the ball loose, without having to give up position. And I just feel like we got to look at this in a big way. Like we were saying in the preseason, but this was the game that I knew Jalen Williams is going to be a star. Full-blown star. Like not just a regional star. Like, this guy is a max contract waiting to happen.
Oh, no doubt, man. The way that he glides through the game, whether it's on defense or offense, it makes it look effortless. And when you see that effortless type of player, and you're like, oh shit, that's next level. That's next level. And it's you can't help it. You can't help but look at J-Dub and watch him out there on offense and defense and say, what else can he do? Is he somebody that can average 20 points a game? Yes. Is he somebody that can average 5 assists a game? Yes. Is he somebody that can average 6 rebounds a game? Yes. Can he average 3 steals a game? Yes. Okay. Where does that put him as far as ranks and guards in the NBA? He would be right there in the top 5 as far as two-way guards. Guards can play defense and offense. Top 5 if he averages those stats. And that's not going to be hard for him, guys. It's not. We said it when we drafted him. We started watching him play. We said, oh, this team is going to be Shea, J-Dub, Chet, the main scorers on the team. You know, and you look at it, Dort, specialist on defense, right, can average 20 points a game, which is insane thinking about. And you have Giddey, who, let's just be honest, out of all the players that I've ever seen pass the ball, Giddey's going to be the one that benefits the most by having J-Dub, Chet, all these other guys out there. Giddey is going to have games where he's going to have 20, 25 assists. I mean, I am confident that we will see a game where Josh Giddey has 30 assists because of the way he passes the ball, because of the way he sees it. We said it before in the show, and a lot of other podcasts talk about it. If guys hit their easy shots, and Josh Giddey would have had 20 assists in a game, multiple times. That's what we're talking about. When these guys start pitting their shots together, and Coach England has time to work with them like he has been, things start coming, and it starts coming good.
And we saw so much from the other guys. And those guys, sometimes, like Trey Mann, he'll be one of the main guys. But this last night, he was one of the other guys, right? And that's good. That's fine. Like, as long as he can get out there and contribute on both ends, that's what matters. Poku, you know, both of those guys ended up with 4 points. But, you know, and limited points from Aaron Wiggins, 5. But the way he scored, like, unconventional, get to the basket, you know, finish at the rim. Like, those guys produced for us in ways that really mattered. Now, in the end, you can look at them and say they were probably on the court, or a couple of them were on the court when, you know, the Mavericks went on their run. But, like, okay, yeah, we can focus on what Isaiah Joe did, and we should, right? About, you know, he's knocking down shots. But those guys, they're glue guys that matter for us. Now, Isaiah Joe is a bit of, like, I don't know, what we might have considered a missing piece. And here's the thing. Like, I have to give you a lot of credit because I didn't consider his skill set to be a missing piece. I knew we needed shooting, so it sounds kind of like I'm ignorant in saying that. But really, I felt like the shooting improvements were going to come from internal improvements. That's where it was going to come from. But the very last guy we add to the roster, after training camp, right, here comes Isaiah Joe, and you're like, bingo, bro. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I mean, come on. This guy is probably going to be a G League player at some level for us. But he comes out and he has the biggest game, really, I've ever seen from a guy who has had so few minutes, right, coming into that for a specific team, right? Like, you see it sometimes. It's a veteran who hardly ever plays but comes in and hits big shots, and that's what his job is to do, or makes big plays. This guy, it was almost like coach didn't even really know who he was as a player when he threw him out in that situation, and he took it over. And you called out some people who said, why did coach just do that? And it's like, because, I mean, he's seen him in practice. Like, this is trust, and you know he possesses a skill set that is really essential, and big shot making is what he's all about. So now we got an extra weapon off the bench we didn't know we had going into the game, right?
Well, I mean, you look at it, and I'm like, okay, you got to read all these situations that are happening. You got to read the fact that Philadelphia, when he got released, was pissed. Like, all their fans were pissed. Like,
they were.
Why? I mean, listen, we've had great players on this team before that when they've left, we haven't been pissed, or released, we haven't been pissed, you know? And I started watching that, and I'm like, man, that's a next level type shit, man. If people are so mad at him for, you know, or the team for getting rid of him. And then I just saw that Sam Presti signed him for a multi-year contract. And it's like, bro, you don't go and do that unless you truly believe in somebody. You know? And that's where I want to say, yeah, Dave, good job by saying that Isaiah Joe is going to be that missing piece. But the reality is, man, I just read what was happening. You know, I read what was happening with Sam Presti and what he did with that contract. And I'm like, listen, Sam Presti's not going to go out and give somebody a contract like that unless he feels like they are a missing piece. And let's be honest, Isaiah Joe and Coach England, which is known as one of the best shooting coaches in the league, and I watched Isaiah Joe in college, man, averaged 10 threes a game, right? That translates into the NBA. And everybody needs somebody that's like a Seth Curry or, you know, Austin Rivers who can knock it down from three. You know, like, you need these type of players. But watching him the other night, I felt like he was, I mean, he's willing to do whatever it takes. And I think that's the difference.
Yeah, he's the most perimeter-orientated player on the team as far as he wants that shot. Trey, he came into the team, and that was what he relied on, was that step back to get enough space. But this year, he's different. This year, he looks a lot more like Shea in his like drive-first mentality, which is good. It's an evolution for him. And I'm sure Isaiah Joe over time will learn that. But at this time, his catch and shoot ability is what we're going to put him out there for. The crazy thing to me about him is, like, I don't know. Like, it seems to me very clear that no moment is too big for him already. Like, can you say for sure that he wouldn't get nervous in a playoff game? No, like, you don't know this. Like, is it the NBA Finals or the National Championship? Like, would he have nerves? Like, probably. I can't say no moment, but, like, you can't be much colder off the bench than he was.
He's the type of guy you want in a Game 7.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, think about it.
Like,
if we have him in the Game 7 in the game, and we have all these other guys that are drivers, you know, pick, roll, drive, pick, roll, fade, pick, roll, whatever, pick, right? And then you have somebody like Isaiah Joe sitting in the corner, you know? Like, people are going to forget about him. He's going to be left wide open. Josh Giddey's going to be in charge of getting him the ball. I mean, this is the type of guy that goes off for 35 points, 40 points in a playoff game, Game 7.
Yeah, dude. And speaking of going off for 35, 40 points, Shea with 38 points. And I listened to a podcast. I can't remember their name. Spark Plug Podcast. It's a new one. Shout out to them. I dig it. But they were talking about Shea. And they said, one of the hosts said he thought that Shea was going to go for a career high on this night. And he wasn't far off. 42 career high. He went for 38. So I got to give him a shout out there. Took overtime to get him there. I don't know, actually, did he score in overtime? I can't remember. I'm sure he did. He scored at every level of this game. 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals. But his mastery of the moment and understanding, okay, we're down, but we need to come back. And this was the biggest game the Thunder have won, I'd say, since Chris Paul was around.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, and it reminded me so much of some of those comebacks with Chris Paul.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about paying dividends, keeping Chris Paul here to mentor Shea. And there wasn't any, like, moment in this game where it was like that game with Chris Paul where he got a technical on the team for coming in without their jerseys tucked in. And he threw it full court, I think, to Steven Adams for a layup. And, like, we were down by 6, and then we won the game like nothing happened. It was incredible how fast that game turned around. I felt like there was a little bit of that magic in this. I mean, it's something we always know. We know with the Thunder, no lead is safe. And every team, we listen to the other broadcasts, right? And we always hear them say these things, right? And it's true. But, like we saw last year, we would come back from 20, and then we get back down by 15. We come back from that, and then we lose by 6. And we're like, we're going to figure out, we're going to put this together. We're going to put this together. And nobody's willing to say, hey, Shea's in the same breath as Luka. Like, nobody's willing to, except for me and maybe you. But I'm saying, like, winning the game matters. Yeah. We just went out there and beat Luka. Shea did it with 38 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. And I'm saying he needs to be in this conversation, bro. He needs not just to be an all-star conversation, but the way we're playing, he needs to be maybe the MVP conversation, bro.
No, I agree, and I think that's where a lot of people are starting to give him credit. Again, winning is everything, and I look at this team, and again, you see a team like Dallas, and they're like, oh, they played, eight deep plus 2 other guys, right? And you can't help but think, man, like, is Dallas going to be a team that's going to be able to stick with the rest of the NBA? I mean, look at the Pelicans are young and deep. Yes, they're injury prone, but they're young and deep, right? We're young and deep. I guess you could say Warriors are young and deep. I mean, there's enough teams that are young and deep on this.
Here's
West
what I'll
side.
say, bro. I'll say they're going to be fine for one reason. They play a really high level defense.
Jason Kidd's good.
and they're not expending energy on that defense. They went to that zone. I felt like most of the game, it was like they were in some sort of.
Can they win a 7-game series though? I mean, we saw them get to the finals.
I think it can
Western Conference Finals last year, but
right. So that would answer I think it can win a 7-game series, but can it win, multiple? Can it take them? They were done by the end of one 7-game series.
Oh yeah,
how I remember.
Oh yeah, but they were so worn out.
Here's the deal, dude. Shea didn't look worn out. He looked like he was getting ready for another fucking overtime if we needed it. Like he was just getting warmed up, and like it's great to see him get out there and get a lot of run. There's been a lot of like speculation about this team's desire to win games this year, and I'm seeing these guys out there play at a high level. And okay, so we've talked about a bunch of guys, but you tell me how you would define Lou Dort's game.
This is the thing about Lou Dort, and I will consistently say this. His stats are going to always dictate how hard he has to play on defense. It's as simple as that. Like last night, he had 2 nights ago, he had 16 points, 2 steals, 2 assists, 6 rebounds, one of which was offensive. Right? He wore himself out last night and got 16 points. To me, that shows you that he's starting to get that whole idea of playing hard on defense and finally figuring out on offense. That's what we need Dort to do. We don't need him to score 25 points every night, but what we need him to do is consistently come out and score 16 points and play top 3 defender in the league. And that's what he is. He is a top 3 defender in the league. Anybody that's like, okay, well, who would you put in front of him? That's my point. Who would you put in front of Dort?
So here's the thing about Dort too. The Clippers, they have a good defense. He's come alive in these situations where we're playing against good defenses. So I think if you can find your rhythm against a tough defense, then he's going to have bigger games. And those games will include 30-point games. And you do that and you mix in domination on the defensive end and this team winning a game because Shea goes out there and has a big game himself, by 20 points. It's going to happen. These other guys will step up and have big games. All things considered, the number of guys who had big games was actually kind of limited for our team. We're used to seeing a bunch of guys get out there and have double digits. And, we had 4 guys in double digits. I'm sorry. My list doesn't go all the way down to the very, very, very bottom. And I'm missing one guy, Isaiah Joe. There we go. So
there you go.
My bad, everybody. I gotta scoot that down a bit. But, once again, for his limited minutes, how much production he has. Coach was the reason you go to Isaiah Joe to answer the uncontested podcast is because you're searching for answers off the bench because you haven't been able to get the production you need throughout the game. And you look at the box score and it's not hard to figure out what specifically they were looking for.
Which was what?
Shooting. And
man,
did they get it?
2 for 20, was it 2 for 23 at that point?
Right.
We had no chance of catching back unless we could get that 3 ball. And guess what? Isaiah Joe can do that. And they weren't guarding it.
I just don't want to mention names, but generally speaking, we have more than 5 points from a guy, 4 points from a guy, 4 points from a guy, 3 points from a guy, 2 points from a guy, 2 points from a guy. So we really had 4 key production players in our offensive rotation.
Yep.
And then we have a guy who would say busts his way into the rotation with 15 points. And my question for you is, is Isaiah Joe in the rotation automatically now?
Oh, bro, he just earned himself a spot.
It's so hard to think. This is a loaded rotation, bro.
You can't. Here's the thing, though. You can't go play out like he just did and say, okay, where do you put him on this list? He deserves to have 15 to 18, maybe even 20 minutes a game now. It's as simple as that. He gave more than just offensive stats. He got rebounds out there. He was able to get an assist out there. He picked up what I thought was an offensive charge, hell of a job that got overturned, right? And that's a crazy thing. If it wasn't overturned, what are we talking about now? He can do it all. I mean, yes, we subbed him out on defense, but he's still understanding our defense. That's not a surprise. He worked so hard out there. He played so hard.
Okay.
And then he was able to do that.
Overreaction time. Okay, so let me ask you. Like, as a team that has tried consistently to bring in a specialist shooter, and I'll mention a couple of names. Anthony Morrow.
Yeah.
Cook, what's his name? Daquan
Waiters.
Cook. Dion Waiters nobody thought he was going to be a specialist shooter, but like we've tried to bring in guys that we thought maybe could fill this. McDermott,
Sure.
who is having a pretty good time over there at the Spurs, and good for him. Probably not as good a time as Josh Primo, but we'll get back to the. But we'll get back to the point. Rank Isaiah Joe as far as like specialist shooters. And I know you already said he can do more than that, but like that one, like highly coveted skill of shooting, like rank him in that.
In the NBA?
Thunder acquisitions.
Oh, he's going to be the best shooter that we've ever gotten in return for whatever. Like
nothing, literally
nothing.
For nothing.
Nothing.
I mean,
like that's the thing. I'm going to look back. We're going to look back at this and we're going to be like, oh yeah, we talked about Isaiah Joe being this player, but the reality is that Isaiah Joe could easily earn a starting position, easily. And you're like, oh really? Oh, that's interesting. But right now we're not healthy, right?
we need two teams. The Thunder needs two teams.
You know, and Isaiah Joe can
so
step
many
up there and
players.
be like, you know what, Aaron Wiggins, you played a hell of a game the other night. You played good defense, but we're going to go with Isaiah Joe to start off the game to see if we can get some open threes to begin.
You already talked me into it. Look, here's my theory on Aaron Wiggins. Okay, he is a big time player. Okay, but the most important thing for him to do is get early success in a game, and a young player needs this. Okay, so it's not special. So bringing him off the bench, right, giving him an opportunity to say, like, this is a game I'm going to make an impact in, right, within a couple of minutes, and then earn those closing minutes versus giving him a starting spot early. Like every young player benefits from those types of conditions to some extent. Okay.
Sure.
So, all right, you already talked me to it.
I just think,
Aaron Wiggins, you lost your
next to
starting
Trey Man.
job because Isaiah Joe showed that he's got big balls, bro. Big, giant balls. And Aaron Wiggins, I'm not saying you don't have big balls. I'm sure you have giant balls too. But Isaiah Joe stepped up and knocked down some shots in a different way.
Not just shots though. Like he got an assist, right? So he's 17 points right there. He's equivalent for now, and his 2 rebounds that he got. If he wasn't there, probably another Thunder player would have been there. But if he wasn't there, the other Thunder player, it was wide open layup for the other guys. So he like showed me enough that I'm like, okay, what else can you do? If I gave you 15 minutes, what can you do? But I look at Aaron Wiggins and he had 28 minutes last night. You know, I look at Trey Man; he had 26 minutes, and it's like, okay.
I think starting is hard with a lineup that includes so many players that are really expected to perform at a high level.
Sure.
Like, I think Aaron Wiggins coming off the bench will get a lot more burn, like a lot more positive, situations to be in. So
not the pressure of a starter.
Yeah, and look. You're going to get on the scouting report, and people are going to start targeting you in different ways. So I don't know that Isaiah Joe will automatically go in there and
he shouldn't
be successful.
He needs more time.
But, okay, let's bring Giddey back into the starting lineup. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then Isaiah Joe, let's move him in there.
Yep.
So Trey Man and Wiggins coming off the bench.
Yep.
Keep Poku starting at the center.
At this point, he's shown I get it. There's a lot of hate towards Poku,
Right.
but he has shown me enough on defense that I want him out there, and he's passing the ball so well.
Look,
I want him out there.
I agree. I think, and that can kind of be a spot reserved for Chet, right?
Keeping that spot warm.
But we've seen it with Bazley, right? Last year was kind of this year for Bazley where he got a lot of starts.
Sure.
I can't remember. I might be exaggerating when I say a lot, but he definitely got some starts. And we came away with this conclusion with him that he, similar to Wiggins, he needed to come off the bench because first of all, the competition's a little bit different, right? You're not playing against like big time players. You need to get that positive momentum, right? So I just feel like Wiggins, it's not a disrespectful thing, and Trey Mann, you know, similar vibes. Like at some level, he's gonna be a starter in this league. Aaron Wiggins belongs starting in this league, but we have to believe that if we are gonna be able to win in the long run, the Thunder have to have a second unit that can have basically, you say like, yeah, that guy's a starter on most teams. This guy's a starter on most teams. This guy. So that's what we have to have, and that's what we're building. And so, yeah, I mean, it can go down to 12 players. People be like, oh, yeah, Mike Muscala, his numbers look like he should be starting, you know, per 36. He should be, but, you know, he's not. That he wouldn't be doing that if he was.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're looking at is that the build of this team. You know, we've talked about the width of a dick, right? And sometimes the width of a dick is really, really good, right? But the length of this dick right here for the Oklahoma City Thunder is massive, man. And it keeps going. And you got 12, 14, 15 deep that you could go and run out these guys. And I think that's the thing is that if you're looking at these guys and you're saying, okay, this guy didn't have a good game. This guy didn't have a good game. This guy didn't have a good game. So you look at their limited minutes and you're like, oh, yeah, I get that. Right? That's what we're looking at. We're saying we can go 12, 14 deep because if these guys aren't stepping up and they're not playing well, guess what? Your rotation just got cut off. JRE, I thought he was playing decent. Played 5 minutes. I don't know if he got injured. I don't know what. But
no,
guess what?
Here's what.
Poku's playing better.
Yeah. And JRE has shown in certain situations he's going to get a lot of run.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we just have to say, like, coaches giving these people opportunities to be like, hey, in 5 minutes, you have to be able to make an impact or this isn't your game. Right? And that will happen in different situations. I was surprised. I thought this would be a big game for Amarui. He got about 10 minutes, and it really wasn't. Sometimes playing against your old team can create, you know, all sorts of situations. They maybe remember you more from practice. You might be trying too hard. I'm not going to make any assumptions or anything, you know, and we're used to Moose having just big game after big game, but in 10 minutes, you know, 2 points. Kenny, I think here's the important thing. Like, we can sit here and talk about points, right? He had 3 and it'd be like, oh, that's limited. But I think there's 2 ways to evaluate. Like, did you shoot well, or did you, like, was your style of play, you know, conducive for getting open shots against the type of team that we're playing, right, in their defense? So it may not just be that you didn't shoot well, but the thing to look at is that did you impact the game in other ways?
When Kenny was out in the game, though, too, is that he drew typically somebody like Luka or something like that. You know, like
big defensive
bigger
assignments.
body. And that's fine. But you look at that and you get, all right, well, then you look at Coach D and like, okay, then Coach D used, instead of, you know, Kenny Hustle, he was able to use Bazley for the bigger the minutes, you know, because bigger body, right? This is what's so impressive about Coach D is that he recognizes what the team needs versus what they don't need. And he's able to turn that shit around. And I think that's the thing about it is that when they're struggling having these certain players play, and you're like, why aren't they getting it? And then he's like, okay, sub this guy out, put this guy in, and then boom, there we go. That missing piece.
Right.
And people talk about Ty Lue being the best coach in the NBA as far as game time decisions and making game changes. That's Coach D, guys. He is so good and phenomenal at doing that. And then you ask him why he does it and how he does it, and he's like, well, a lot of it's my assistants. Bro, he's so fucking smart, he doesn't even know it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes being smart is listening to the other people who are smart around you and recognizing, you know, what they offer, but also giving them credit is great. But so let's talk about Bazley, right? Because this is exactly what you're saying, like recognizing who's doing the best and giving them minutes. And it also, you compare Bazley to Isaiah Joe and you say 15 minutes, 15 points, right? But we're not looking here and saying, okay, Bazley needs to start, right? Why?
Yeah.
Because if Bazley starts, he doesn't get 11 shots.
Nope.
Right? And he went 7 for 11, so he had a big game offensively. And while he only gets credit for very limited defensively, right? 1 block, no steals.
Bro, there's no way he only had 1 block.
You're right.
He had that block against Luka.
When you watch the blocks,
and then Finley,
right? When you watch the team blocks, you notice that he is amongst everything. He's kind of like Jalen Williams was when it comes to steals for the team. He was just in the middle of everything, and so and Bazley with 8 rebounds, right? Big time stuff there. And you look at Kenny Williams, 6 rebounds. Moose, 2 rebounds. Amarui, 2 rebounds. So we're not we don't say, oh, you didn't shoot well, you had a bad game, right? That's an important thing as a coach to be able to recognize there's a difference. And a lot of people will look at the box score and say, oh, but that's why we watch the games, right? Is because you can see impacts that don't come out in the box score. So yes, these guys had massive impacts that don't come out in the box score. But when it came down to it, we needed shot making. And that's why will always be known as the Isaiah Joe game.
Rightfully so. He has earned his plaque as one of the greatest under 10-minute games in maybe NBA history. Think about it. Down by 15, Isaiah Joe comes in the game, 4 minutes left, throws up 15 points, gets 1 assist. I mean, I think he had 12 points and 1 assist. All right. And then he had a 3 in overtime. You know what I'm saying, guys? This was next level. This is what we've all been talking about, saying that we need a piece like this. And then all of a sudden, here he is. It's okay, all right. Now what do we need? Bro, get healthy. Get fucking healthy. That's all this team needs. Think about it. Josh Giddey, Chet, with all these other 12 guys. It's over. Seriously. If I am an NBA GM right now and I'm not named the Utah Jazz, I'm shitting my pants because I'm saying, guys, we've got to win a championship in the next couple of years because otherwise we're not going to win one again. LeBron knows, bro. If he doesn't win a championship in LA in the next couple of years, he's never going to win one unless he goes and plays for a team like Oklahoma City or a team like Utah that has an enormous amount of picks and a lot of good players right now.
Man, bro. What do we look like with Giddey? That's the thing. I want to just take a moment, and anybody who's listening still can appreciate what I'm saying right now. I'm sure because there's been all this talk of tanking and this team will be bad, and I've always said if people accept that we went through the losing route to win, right? Yeah. Then that's just really not giving it enough credit. So really, we've had 2 players that we've picked up as products of losing, right? And we'll say Giddey and Chet are those 2 players, right? Other than that, pieces. Right? They're masterpieces. They're the 2 that we're going to build a team around. But the team that we're seeing out there win, right, is all a product of internal improvement and good trades, right? Getting
great trades,
adding draft picks that are other teams.
J-Dub from Clippers, right? Right. And then we got Osman Jang from the Rockets, essentially.
Right for the trading back with Trey and exactly. We got him from the Knicks technically, but all the
but we gave him all the picks that we got from the Rockets.
Right. It's impossible to keep track of every single element that goes into these things, but you do as good of a job as anybody. So
it's
here's
beautiful,
the thing, bro. If this team can improve to the point where they are competent, maybe even playing what we are right now, and we shouldn't get too carried away, but 500 basketball as of today, okay? If they are even, we would say, a competent NBA team without the picks that we've picked up from our own draft the last couple of years, then those players aren't relied on to take us up. That's an important thing. You look at a player like Paulo or Jabari. These guys are going to teams that are bad and are going to be bad unless they become all-time great players and can lift their organization all the way up. And even though these teams have a lot of early draft picks, they're missing organizational competency. And without that goal and understanding where they're working to get together, all these low picks that are very, very valuable won't lift them up. So to me, that's the important part of Dort and Man and SGA and Bazley and Kenny Williams and Mike Muscala and Umarui and JRE. And then you add these guys, Isaiah Joe, Jang, Chet, Giddey, and you're like, okay, just enjoy the ride.
I got a question.
Ask me.
Let's say that Shea has shown enough right now that we want to keep him at that point guard position. J-Dub showed enough that we want him in that starting position at the small forward position. Shooting guard position, switching out with Dort, right?
Just for the record, before we go too far, you said before the season, J-Dub could play power forward, and I saw him on some assignments defensively that would indicate you are correct. So
yes,
give you credit.
Think about it. The last piece, though, you would have Josh Giddey at that forward position.
It's like, okay,
here's the thing. Here's the thing about it.
On the lineup card, they can do whatever they want, but in the end, he's the one initiating the offense. I'd say 60% of the time.
What if he's not the one initiating the offense? What if it's Shea coming down the court, driving hard, dishing, and then that's how the offense starts? Like, what difference is this team going to look like?
It's hard for me to imagine that being the best situation for Shea, but I'll go along with you. Okay, so if we imagine that Giddey is now playing
the small forward, power forward position, whatever,
off ball primarily, and his goal would then become a plus 3-point shooter, because they're going to dare him to shoot a lot like they dared Dort to shoot early in his career.
Yes, except I feel like the way the Thunder run the offense, it's designed to, even if you're not necessarily a good shooter, you penetrate to the hole because they give you space.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Instead of getting the ball and be like, oh, space, shoot. You penetrate and dish. So let's just say Josh Giddey isn't one of the guys that starts in the corner, though. You just have somebody like J-Dub who has a very nice shot from that corner, or you put Dort in that corner to start off, right?
Yeah.
And Shea coming down to it necessarily initiate getting the ball to Josh on the run. That's the key. Because I look at Josh Giddey's game and I see when Josh receives the ball from, the offense that's already going and going strong, his decisions are so quick, a team can't catch up to that. Now, when Josh is initiating the offense, he doesn't touch the ball again for another 7-8 seconds. Josh Giddey isn't going to leave Shea hanging like that. I mean, think about it. Josh Giddey's going to get the ball on the run, going towards the lane. Shea's wide open yet again. And that's where I start looking at this team and I'm saying, does it really matter who's running the offense? No. But watching Josh Giddey and watching his strengths, moving without the ball and moving towards the ball in the offense, man, I have a hard time saying that, Josh should be playing point guard and the only person playing point guard. Because I feel like it would be beneficial for Josh to become that 2 or 3 guard in that offense.
Yeah, I think they used to call him, they don't really use this term as much anymore, but a slasher.
Yeah, bro, he's so good at that. I mean, top in the NBA, slasher, passer. There's probably not a better slasher passer in the NBA. So getting the ball on the run to Josh, it just means that this team is going to be incredibly successful. So I don't know what the right thing is to do, but I'm just saying, I think this is something we're going to see, because what Shea is doing with the ball in the point guard position right now, I don't want him to move off the ball. I want to see if he can take this and get a Western Conference All-Star nod playing that point guard position.
Damn, dude. I mean, honestly, when you started talking about it, I felt like a lot of resistance to the idea. It was I don't want to talk about that again. We've been here before kind of thing. But I think you're right. I mean, you won me over, bro. I mean, you made a good argument for it. I think it's difficult to imagine, but
think about when Josh comes down the middle of the floor, right?
Right.
And he's coming down running hard and passes the ball to a wide open guy because somebody has to collapse to stop him. when someone's setting a screen for Josh on the wing, Josh comes off that screen, comes off hard. Shai's already got down to the free throw line.
No, and I mean, you get a rebound, you run. Everybody pushes the ball, and they pass it up. And
yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, like the fast break, a fast break.
A fast
when
break.
You reset the offense.
If he's like, my job is to go get the ball, versus his job is to get the fuck out of there. I mean, that's a difference, and that's, I would say, a little bit more, toward what we talk about sometimes, like the AFL, like move to space, move to open space versus.
And Josh is still going to get 8 to 10 minutes a game in the point guard position because Shai's going to be sitting on the bench for a significant amount of time.
And like in the way our offense runs, everybody's asked to get downhill, get to the basket, kick the ball if you can't get all the way there, and then knock down the shot if you're open. It's not like it's going to be that much different. And that, in a big way,
it's just
that's
morphing to Shai's team.
Right.
Because I think he deserves it, man. What he's done for the last 30 games he's played is truly spectacular.
So are you suggesting we just trade Giddey?
Fuck no.
I'm just kidding.
Josh Giddey for life, man. This guy's going to be the future of the NBA. But I also think that the way he's able to take care of the ball is perfect. Shai doesn't turn over the ball a lot. Josh Giddey doesn't turn over the ball a lot. Dort doesn't turn over the ball a lot. And you have those three guys. I mean,
yeah, because you know what? You know what you're saying, dude? All right, and I'll just sum it up, and then I'll let you keep talking. But you're saying, Giddey, we want you to be a playmaker, not a point guard.
That's it. We want you to use your skills that you're really good at. We want you to be able to get to the hole and dish to the corners. Because, listen, whether it's Dort or J-Dub in the corners with Poku or Chet, it doesn't matter. I mean, JRE is phenomenal at that corner three. Having those guys there means that these guys can do whatever they want. And they're always going to have somebody to rescue there. And on top of that, these guys are so good at offensive rebounds that they're going to crash your board if you miss it. Bro, it's just, to me, it's trying to understand what Sam Presti and Coach D want for this team. But I have a hard time saying that the second Josh Giddey gets back, it's going to be like, here you go, Shai, go over to that 2 position. Like, I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be like, like Shai's in a bad spot down court already because of defense. He can't go back and get the ball. We want to go get the ball out fast. Josh was there for the rebound. Missed, they hit a shot. The ball goes out. It's to Josh. Josh starts the offense. Same thing. Shai's in better position to get the ball out of balance. He gets up the court. Boom, gone.
I think, last year when it seemed like things might shift more toward Giddey being the point guard, we had kind of seen Shai, like he had been, leading the league in drives and stuff, but there was a lot of like this, like he'd bring the ball up and then initiate the drive himself without really getting other people involved. And It wasn't like he didn't get them involved, but it became an exhaustion level. And I think what's happened since is he went from being like the player he was last year versus the player he is this year is significantly different. Oh, yeah. And he has so much more confidence in Coach Daignault's system, though. So he's running it in a way that he can go out there and put up 38 points without it feeling like in any way he was trying. Like he played within the system. He did what he needed to do. And I don't know how much, his experience with Team Canada impacted it, or just maybe it's just like he's gotten bigger and stronger and people aren't giving him enough credit for that. What?
Let's just be honest. When Coach D and Sam came out and were like, we have been so impressed with how Josh has been playing, we're going to give him more burn time as minutes as a point guard position. That was a changing moment. I mean, I still remember Shai's face in the interview afterwards, like, well, that's not goal number 1.
Right.
But after that, bro, he took the bull by the horns. I mean, you could say he fucked the bull in the ass. It was like, fuck you guys. I am going to be the starting point guard on this team. And he's proven he deserves it. I mean, like, listen, people are putting him in the same category as Ja Morant.
And bro, his shot is broken right now. And everybody knows his three-point shot is broken right now. And they still can't stop him. And the only reason it's broken right now is because he didn't have preseason. I honestly believe that. Like and so what does that say to me? Give him 5 more games. He's going to be, in his flow and everything will be cool.
Bro,
then what
he's still hitting 36.8% from 3 points this season.
Right. But and I know a team is daring him to shoot versus wanting him to drive.
Yes.
Because that his driving is fucking
legendary.
bonkers right now. And if he's shooting 40%, dude, then he is but here's the thing. Every single fucking pundit, when they talk about the Thunder, they always say the same thing. Oh, if this guy figures out how to knock down the 3, oh, watch out. If this guy figures out, all right. They got to just all recognize they need to fucking watch out because it's going to be put together very quickly. And I don't care what the fuck is going on with Josh Giddey. I do. I actually care. But I know one thing, irregardless of what his case is, because my understanding is a sprained ankle. And I hope it's nothing more because then I'll feel very bad for saying that. But, I know he's getting better.
Yeah.
While he's recovering, his shot is getting better. I know he's going to come back an improved player, no matter what ailment he's dealing with right now. And I haven't really heard much information, so I want to be careful and hope that I don't overstate something like that and a severe injury. But my point is just this: organizationally, there's this mentality that we are all getting better every day. It doesn't matter if you're the best player on the roster or the newest guy on the roster. We're going to see people who show up, who work hard in the weight room, work hard in the gym, listen to coach, buy into the system, and give it their all. And what we believe more than anything is if you have those as the template of your organization, and you are also the youngest organization, then just the final ingredient to the elixir is time. We just have to give it a little bit of time and watch the magic happen.
You're right, man. And it's what's happened inside this organization is exactly what's happening amongst the fans in Oklahoma City right now. Is the belief. They're all starting to feel like this is it. This is the time that we've all been waiting for. I mean, I can't help but see it after last night on Saturday's game. I can't help but see it. I felt that way against the Clippers. I felt that way against the Timberwolves. And yes, we lost those games, but we showed that we are willing to fight and do whatever it takes. And I just can't help but wonder if this is actually happening right now. Is this really how good we are? Are we going to be looking at that 500 line mark this year and say that's completely achievable? And that's 41 games, right?
Well, let's just not get too carried away because we're fresh off of a 3-game losing streak before we started this 3-game winning streak. So But here, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
One game.
One game.
Magic. Tonight.
Yeah. No, Tuesday.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm pretty stoked about Magic.
Do you think?
Another.
They haven't got a win yet.
Yeah, they got one.
They got one?
Yeah.
All right. See, you pay more attention than me. But last time I looked, they were one of the few teams that didn't have a win. Even though
there's not an undefeated team or a completely defeated team, I guess you could say.
A winless team, yeah.
So winless team. Lakers
here we are. You think we get a win and we go above 500?
I mean, yeah. I don't know why we wouldn't.
I mean, we're a young team. Young teams are inconsistent. We know that, but we
got Shea, man. We got Shea. We got Dort. We got these guys at Bazley that are ready to play. These are the games that they play really, really good against teams. And that's just it is. All we need to do now is, and we've talked about this, is find those 3 other guys that are going to put the majority of the minutes in that are going to have a good game. And Coach T is going to find that. He's going to take the time to make sure that he finds those 3 guys, and he's going to give the rest of the guys minutes. And in that fourth quarter, you're going to see all 5 of those guys play fucking hard.
Big balls Joe. That's what we call Isaiah now.
Joe.
All right, bro.
Bigger boy are ya?
Bigger than you know. Yikes, man. So here's what I want to say about that. And I said it already, but I want to say it again. That was the biggest win in years.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got some other stuff to talk about. You got anything else on this?
Nah, dude, I'm good. I'm good. I feel happy that we've covered everything. I really do.
Okay.
These guys are playing well, so kudos to them.
All right, bro. We got some goodies to talk about here. First of all, apparently my notes here are a little bit old, but Steve Nash was going after the team a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Said he was criticizing their lack of desire. And I'm like, okay, Steve Nash as a player, I don't care. He was a great player. I really appreciate what he did as a player, right? But as a coach, he just had a superstar call for him to be fired in the offseason. And maybe it was posturing, maybe he didn't mean it, whatever. But to criticize your team's desire.
Man, let me tell you.
Yeah, tell me.
When you play with passion and heart and everything that you want to stay in the game and be part of the game and everything, you give your entire fucking life for the game, your health, everything. And then you see somebody that's getting paid 10 times at what you got paid as a player, and they're really not just giving a shit at all. And it's frustrating.
It pisses you off.
It pisses you off.
And
that's where he's at. He's like,
you can't be that. You can't be that because
you can't.
You're a coach, and you have to be a
But that's what's going
coach.
on right now.
Yeah.
He can't help himself, man. He's putting his hand in the honey jar.
Don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't be a fucking
All right,
jerk.
man. I got a funny one. But in the meantime, bro, since I'm going to take a second to pull this up, dude. In the meantime, I saw this news story that seems like, and the only question I could ask was, what year is it? All right. The Lakers retire George Mikan's number, 99. And I'm sitting here being like,
What?
the fact that anybody else in the NBA has their number retired and George Mikan's number is not retired is, to steal a quote from Will Ferrell, mind-boggling.
I can't, bro. How could you not?
Hang on, I got to show you something. But you talk about.
All right. Unless you did something to the organization when you're getting out of the organization, like really piss them off, and they're like, "We're fucking not going to retire your number." I mean, like, kind of like what happened with Pete Rose, man. Pete Rose got like never into the Hall of Fame until he dies, and then he'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame. You like,
right.
I could see something like that with George Mikan. Like he did something so bad that they're not going to do it. But it just
He was a good
to
guy.
me.
He was a good guy.
He was a good guy.
And I read the story about him, like his family. His dad's like deathbed wish was to get his number retired and put up there, and they didn't do it while he was alive.
Yep.
But his family continued to ask people, and I think it shocked people. But I mean, I've got a Mikan autograph. First thing I was showing everybody, and then the second thing is like a 1956 sports magazine with Mikan on the cover. I mean, he was the first legit superstar in the NBA.
He was crazy good.
I just don't understand how his number 99 wasn't hanging up there from the beginning. But the fact that Shaq's was and his wasn't, even to Shaq, seemed like a little bit strange.
Yep.
So I'm glad that his family continued to fight for this, and they did it for their dad, and that's dope, dude. But man, I wish they had done it while he was alive. I can't think of a bigger name of somebody who like was missing any type of honor than George Mikan. And like Shaq said, he started it all, for all the big men. And when you look at players like Joker and these guys, and you're like, all right, like, there's still a lineage of what Mikan started.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, we had drills called the Mikan drill, in high school.
I mean, absolutely.
So,
and explain the Mikan drill.
Oh man, it was, first of all, in order for those people out there to truly understand, is that you would have to hit 100 shots, okay? And you're standing underneath a basket, directly underneath it, okay? And you start. You take one step to your right, hit a right-handed layup. Take the ball, put the ball on the ground. Go to the left, right? One step to the left, pick up the ball. Layup, put the ball on the ground. It has to be quick, right? Because otherwise, 100 shots are going to take you forever. So you get to that point where you're doing it really, really fast. And then the other one that I loved that we called George Mikan drill was the one that we hit the layup, grab the rebound, go the other side. Grab the rebound, go the other side. So there's two ways of really doing it, and one's way more active than the other, but both of them are just layup after layup after layup. I mean, and it's post move essentially after post move. But dude, if you have a young kid and you're like, I need to teach him something in the game, the best thing you can teach him is the George Miking drill, and it's the one that you just do right-handed layup, right? Not even moving. You're just taking the ball, jumping towards the basket, layup, grabbing the rebound, left side, and just going back and forth, because it becomes repetitive. And when you start doing it so much, I mean, you're sitting at a position, you're like, oh, I'm never going to miss a shot again.
Absolutely. Or, I mean, you'll get better, you'll get tired, you'll get in better shape from it, and over time you'll improve your numbers. But it's a great way to get started, for sure. I was at the court yesterday with my daughters and my son, so I did not pull that drill out, but I was doing some other stuff. But anyway, how about this, bro? Tell us what we're seeing here.
Oh, yeah. What? Okay, first of all, you should never smoke with animals.
No.
But it looks like this camel really wanted this.
He was asking.
He is smoking weed with the camel, and then look at the camel's face. It got what it wanted, bro.
It got what he wanted.
You know, like, I mean, that's the thing, is don't smoke with animals. It's not good for them. But when you see an animal like this that's saying, please,
still don't do it. You can get in trouble. We would never, ever, ever, ever advocate anything. But
camel's the happiest it's been forever.
Yeah, that camel does not look like he's having problems. But still, it's wrong, so we would never say do it. Bro. And, like, there's so much to talk about today, dude. There's so much to talk about, but I got another one. I actually got a couple of do not do things on this list. Okay. Josh Primo.
Oh yeah, we talked about last episode, John and I.
All right.
Don't pull your dick out in public, you assholes.
All right. I still hope my team signs him, but you know, whatever. What do you think?
As long as he keeps his dick in his pants. Literally.
Dude, he is good.
I know. He just needs to learn some lessons, that's all. He's that 20-year-old, 21.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
It's a lesson every kid has to learn.
Yeah, man.
It's just like, when do you learn it? All right.
Well, all right, let's just be honest. The other day, right? I said the other day, my son, Jude, we're at
Put him on blast,
Bay with
bro.
Turtle Bay, right, with my dad, and Jude had to go pee. So he's, pulled it out and started peeing right there. It was a water faucet it happened to be. But, at that point, I let him finish because I'm not going to have him pee his pants. And I'm like, all right, now, Jude, we don't do that. We don't, not in public. If you need to go to the bathroom, you either go into the ocean or you tell us that you need to go to the bathroom.
Right. It's like you said, it's a lesson we all have to learn. Just what age?
Yeah, what age?
Josh Primo's a little bit old.
Sometimes
he's a millionaire.
Sometimes you're in your teens, sometimes you're in your 20s, sometimes you're in your 50s or 60s or 70s, or sometimes you don't learn and you die.
Wow, that went fast. Okay, so there's this not funny story where Tiger Woods, another guy who had to learn when to pull it out and not, his video is being used in a political ad that's pro-death penalty. And they act like I guess they don't know it's Tiger Woods. They acted like it was an arrest video of somebody who had committed murder, and they used Tiger Woods' video. Anyway, there's that fucked up story.
What's this? Time out here. Time out. How did you skip? Machine Gun Kelly snorts cocaine off of Megan's breast for Tiger Woods bullshit, bro.
because this, okay? You gotta save the best for last, bro.
Oh, man. Right. The second I saw that, I was like, what the fuck's going on?
Well, and here's the thing. Some of these things take a little bit of time to pull up. So
I got you.
I buy into the slow delay. All right. Anyway, so yeah. All right. Everybody, hold your fucking horses. This will be up anytime. As soon as the stupid Bravo ad is done, I am watching it, so you don't have to. But
thanks, Mark. I appreciate that.
Yo, so we got one more story after this, bro, and it's a big one, and it's a serious one. So we shouldn't joke around about it, but, yo, bro, It's the NBA salary cap rules potentially getting changed. Here we go, bro. I'm pausing and I'm sharing because nobody cares about the NBA salary cap rules getting changed.
Oh, I do. It's going to be
Machine Gun Kelly snorting cocaine, quote unquote, quote unquote. Everybody put quote around it. Here we go. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah. Hold on, though.
I paused it just to see, like...
Hold on. I want to see if that cocaine looks real. That's all I want to see. Is that cocaine? Is that fentanyl?
I don't think it's cocaine. I don't think it's fentanyl. I think it's a joke.
Baking soda. We fell for that one time. All right. You can push play.
Bro.
Just kidding. You're good, man.
No, I was trying to find out if it was cocaine.
I wish we could like test it from here. Man, that looks like cocaine. The way it stayed on there. If it was like anything else, you know.
All right.
And why would he lick it if it wasn't cocaine?
Get it off of there.
I mean,
you don't want to leave residue of anything, even if it's flour.
I mean, I would lick it too, I guess.
How many times do you want to watch this? And you tell me now before we go.
You're good. One more time. Twice. There we go.
This
See,
is
cocaine
3.
residue.
All right,
there
so that's
now
3. You want to watch 4? Tell me when you're done.
That's good. Yeah, we're good.
All
Man,
right.
I know that residue look though. I know that residue look.
So you're saying it's real?
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking it's real.
All right. Well, nothing we can say is...
Kelly's out there always telling people he's doing drugs, so it's not like it's that big of a shocker.
All right. Well, we don't know what it was. We know that it was what it was made to look like. The only way I can tell you for sure what it was is if I was there and I did that myself. And I would do that if they asked me to verify that, the validity of it. But nobody's asked me to do that, so I won't.
Dude. All right, let's get back to the NBA real quickly here and talk about this whole different thing that we're hearing, that they want to put a cap on it.
All right.
Right?
You tell me your opinion, and then I'm going to read a bunch of stuff I read in an article, and then you give me your opinion. So
this
go
is
first.
Just the NBA commissioner and the owners fucking with a player association.
Okay.
They're trying to act like, hey, we're going to do this, and then they're going to get to the negotiating table and be like, listen, we won't do this if you don't do this. And the whole time they were never planning on doing it anyways, because it doesn't benefit them to have a cap. I mean, none of the teams benefit to have a cap.
Except there's this belief from the NBA's front office that the more parity that you can achieve, the more value there is to each team. And I think that that's a relevant argument. I think if you look at it, the more teams that buy in, 80 games, 82 games into the season, that's
sure.
going to sell more tickets. So I get what you're saying. It's a bargaining chip, okay? But this also speaks like you don't pull something out as a bargaining chip if you don't, in the end, really think that maybe something along those lines needs to be addressed. And
sure.
As a fan of the Thunder, we've noticed that this ever-expanding tax and stuff, it doesn't help a small market team. So I understand why this is being argued. But they want to put up an upper salary limit in the new NBA Players Association agreement. They basically would take away the tax, which I don't know how the Warriors would feel about this. I think they'd be against this because they seem to be benefiting quite a bit from having an infinite amount that they can spend. But here's a quote from the article. In the system now, teams can re-sign their own players and add salary in free agency through various exceptions to exceed the salary cap. The NBA's proposed system change would end luxury tax payments that are shared with many smaller market teams, requiring the league to find new mechanisms for revenue sharing, sources said. Among the other top priorities in the collective bargaining talks for the league, sources said, finding mechanisms to incentivize top players participate in more regular season games, creating crisper competition and greater value in the league's media right deals, working on a smoothing plan to incrementally add in the windfall escalation of revenue in the league's looming media deal, which would avoid a repeat of the cap spike in 2016 that disproportionately rewarded one class of free agents and selected teams and hurt others. Anyway, here we'll go to the next one without crying too much. To end the one and done early entry rule and allow high school players back into the NBA draft, the league wants a requirement that players' agents can no longer pick and choose the teams with whom they supply prospects' physical and medical information. The NBA also wants some minimal requirements around presence of participation in the draft combine. Okay, guys, we know who we're being talked about here. Okay, we all know it. All right.
Set rule.
Exactly, dude. So what do you think about all this?
I mean, I understand why the NBA is a little frustrated right now, but it's fucking worked out for us, so...
Well, except for part of it that
they're also talking about, but they've also talked about, like, lowering the age, but waiting until a team like Oklahoma City doesn't have so many draft picks, because that does change things.
Yeah, but, all right, so let's talk about it, bro, from a big picture perspective, like you were saying. Like, you started this out with I think the right approach, which was the NBA doesn't want a work stoppage. They're not going to approach this with any, deal breakers. The NBA Players Association is completely against this idea of a hard cap. So it's not going to happen this time, but we know what they're pushing for. We know the commissioner wants to be the cool commissioner. And the only thing that makes you not cool is a work stoppage.
Oh yeah, fucks your shit up, man.
You don't need your shit fucked up like
because
that.
Of it. Anybody
who's accidentally clicked on guy porn knows that you don't want your shit fucked up like that, bro. Or purposely. I don't know. Maybe some people do. Like, I'm not judging. I'm just saying that's what I felt when I saw that shit.
Man, we're all for everybody's personal choice in porn. As long as
no judgments
here. I don't have to hear about your personal choice in porn. And listen, if you want to tell me about your personal choice in porn, I'll listen to you.
See, so you won't even judge that.
I might not agree with you.
All right, back to the whole one and done rule or whatever we were talking about before, because really, in the end, it's personal preference, man. To each their own.
It's all about that, bro.
That's why, for some reason, I get all of this, like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about the stuff that keeps popping up when I look at porn, but it's not my preference, okay? Just put it that way.
It puts the lotion on the skin.
It's like, it's a tough explanation when people, like, look at the site that you go for porn, like, they encounter it, because it's like, ew, it's like, I'm not looking at all of these.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, like, one or two.
I'm looking for the one I want. This is where we have to go to find it. It's like complaining that you like, oh, this is a gross grocery store. It's like, I'm not gonna eat everything here.
Yeah, I just want one or two things from the dry goods section.
I didn't know you were a dry guy. That's good. The dry rub. That's the Memphis style barbecue, bro.
Bro, I mean, like, you can go any route you want on that, but I have found the most exquisite way of doing things is doing it.
Your long windup has me really concerned about what's going to happen next. Go ahead, though.
Man, I gotta say this before we go, because
you're going to say
it kind of goes in the context of everything here. So, everybody that listens to us for a while, they know that my wife is in the military, right? And she just went to Iraq, and she got back. But while she was in Iraq, I had my birthday, and my wife wanted to send me something that would be pretty cool for my birthday, bro. Right? So,
I've been hoping you would tell this story for so long, bro.
So, when you're gone from your wife, right, you just need something sometimes to help out. And she decided to get me one of those vibrating pussies. You know what I'm saying? Like
pocket pussies.
The ones that they call light flashlights or whatever. Anyways,
flashlights. Yeah, I bet it came with all the bells and whistles.
It was nice, right? But the problem was, she sent it to our address in Hawaii, and not in our address in Bethesda. So I get this call from my old neighbor saying, "Hey, man."
Because
you
it
got
was
a package.
Surprise. It was a surprise, right?
Yeah, you get a package. I'm like, what do you mean a package? And he's like, yeah, you got a package here, man. I'm like, where's it from? He's like, it doesn't say, right? Because Adam and Eve, they don't put where it's from, right? And I'm like,
Shout
okay,
out
cool,
Adam and Eve.
right? So I was like, just open it. Tell me what it is. And that way I know, like, if you should send it to me. And he's like, all right, cool. And he opens it up and he's like, bro, it's one of those pocket pussies. And I'm like, oh, shit. And it was like, yeah, man, you can next day air that shit to me. It's like, yeah, I don't even know what to say to you, man. It's just embarrassing.
Like, I need that now.
Send it immediately. Overnight it.
I can't wait. Overnight from Hawaii, bro, to DC. That's
why next day aired it, because at least
Yeah.
it only costs $50 getting it.
damn, dude, that's expensive, but it's worth it, bro. People pay way more than that for.
It did some amazing things.
All right, well,
And yes, using lube in that situation is the best.
okay. See that now we're back to the whole. That's that callback right there. We're talking about using lube, bro. Using lube, and that's what is going on right now with the NBA bargaining agreement.
Oh my God, yes.
We're seeing a wish list. The wish list equals lube. It's foreplay, everybody. Getting everything warmed up.
Get it.
But they don't
That's
want a
it.
work stoppage. Here's what Adam Silver wants. The cool commissioner. The cool commissioner wants a long, prosperous reign.
Yes.
This is his chance to make it happen. We know he's going to make it happen. It starts with this. So a few of these things will happen. A few of them won't. And maybe the next collective bargaining agreement, there will be enough consensus from the owners that they don't want to keep doing this endless money pit that the Warriors and the Lakers or whoever else are, doing it at that point
Sure.
are capable of doing. They want some restrictions. We'll see what happens, but at this point, yeah, it's good to have lube.
Yes. Sometimes he's got to be in that position. Anyways, we have a show on Wednesday. John's going to be back with us.
Amen.
Pretty stoked about that.
Looking forward to it.
And we'll have another game to talk about on Wednesday, because Tuesday, which is tomorrow, the Thunder play against the Magic.
And
Stoked.
every sports fan, to some level, is superstitious. And we recognize that we have very little to do with the actual success of our team by superstition. But we still believe that it's our obligation as a fan to follow certain routines. And ever since that we've had John jumping on the podcast, bro.
We winning.
So
Win.
if you guys want to point at something, give him some love, because we got to keep this guy coming back if we're going to get this going. So we got a game against the Magic. Looking forward to it, bro. Looking forward to it. So thanks for joining us, everybody. We will see you soon.